Welcome to the Quit Vaping podcast, the podcast designed to make you a non-listener. In this show, I'm not going to scare you away from a life of vaping. What I am going to do is show you just how good your life can be without it. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. It has been all day long that I've been trying to record this episode, and I've literally recorded 2 full episodes now and then scratched it because I wasn't satisfied with them. But I've been really fuzzy brained, and I'm really just gonna get this thing out today. All right. So as you guys might know, I moved back into my parents' house. This is day number 2 or 3, and it feels very surreal. It's feeling very strange. I've had a lot of thoughts about it. And I just want to give you guys a reminder that any circumstance that happens in your life, any factual event, whether it's something that happened in the past, something that somebody else says to you, a decision that you've made in the past, those are circumstances. And your circumstances of your life do not create your emotions. The things that we choose to think about our circumstances is what creates our emotions. Remember, this podcast is teaching you that your thoughts create your emotions. And remember that anything that you are doing that you don't want to be doing is because of the way that you feel emotionally. And if there's things that you want to be doing that you're not doing, it's because of the way that you're feeling emotionally. All of your actions in your life and your inactions are always going to be determined by the way that we are feeling, okay? And what creates our emotions, our feelings, is our thoughts, not our circumstances. So I've been feeling really strange lately about moving back in with my parents. And I finally sat down after avoiding it for a couple of weeks and found out that I was feeling a lot of shame. And I had all these interesting thoughts and all this pre-existing programming about what it means to be a life coach and what it means to be 29 and what it means to be living at my parents' house at my age, at my income level, comparing myself to other people. And I just want to offer that if you're feeling bad about something in your life, it's a really good idea to sit down and find out what you're currently believing that is making you feel bad, okay? And just make sure that you like those beliefs, because a lot of the times what you find is once you actually figure out and write down, get it out of your head what you're thinking about your facts of your life, you're going to find that you actually don't want to believe that anymore. And it doesn't really make sense. Stepping into a life that you really want is all about deciding what you want to believe in any given set of circumstances. That really is it. I mean, it's like the thesis of life is deciding to think thoughts that feel good no matter the outside circumstance, okay? And the reason I'm leading into that today is just a reminder that your thoughts create your emotions, and the reason that you are vaping is emotional, okay? A lot of people come to me, especially it seems like teenage guys and like young 20 guys come to me all the time, and they're always like, it's not emotional, it's not that deep, dude. They're on TikTok, it's not that deep, dude. And it's like, you don't understand. Your emotions don't have to be deep, dude. They're just vibrations in your body. And I have found personally, even like the gay community guys that are more like feminine-esque are still uncomfortable talking about their emotions. It's like we have this programming around emotions. And let me tell you that it's really important to understand that your emotions are guiding all of your actions. And the reason that you're taking any action, it doesn't matter what the action is because of the way you're feeling. So if you have a problem with a substance, it's because you have an emotion in your body. There's nothing woo-woo about it. There's nothing fluffy about it. It's very real. Emotions are so important. They're so frowned upon in modern society, but it's like you have to be able to understand the vibrations in your body if you want to create a life that is meaningful, where you are not addicted to things, okay? So anyways, I don't know if I'm talking to you guys or to me about this, but just drop any preconceived ideas you have about emotions. And just from this point on, moving forward, recognize that when you hear the word emotion or feeling, it's just a vibration in your body being caused and created by your thought that you're thinking in the moment, okay? The reason I'm saying that is because so many of us are avoiding our life with substances. And what that looks like, it's also called buffering, okay? It's like, think of you are literally buffering, putting a buffer between you and the real truth of your life. All right. Now, the reason that we do that, there's a couple reasons. For one, your brain's designed to, okay? Your brain is designed to avoid discomfort. So if you listen to the last episode in this podcast, it was really, really good. It's called How to Know What You Want with Your Life, or How to Know What You Do with Your Life, something like that. It's really, really good. And like I was on fire last week recording that. But anyways, I'm just going to repeat what I said in the last episode that your brain works on something called the motivational triad, okay? And the entire triad, every single living organism literally functions on this triad, and it's called a triad because there's 3 parts, okay? Tri is the prefix for 3. Makes sense, right? So there's 3 parts. Your brain naturally wants to seek pleasure. It does this with dopamine. Vaping has a lot of dopamine. Nicotine, especially with nicotine salts, how vaping is engineered, now it releases a disproportionately large amount of dopamine. Your brain wants to seek pleasure. Your brain wants to avoid pain or discomfort. And I'm talking about physical pain and emotional discomfort. Either one I would throw into the discomfort of your brain, right? And then your brain wants to conserve energy. So it wants to save as much energy as possible while seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. And this motivational triad is literally like the best, well-engineered, perfect way for organisms to exist on this planet. But the problem is that in modern society, we have a mismatched brain for the environment. So what ends up happening is the very thing that used to keep us alive is destroying us, okay? We were never designed to be in an environment with so many quick and easy and consistent hits of dopamine. So just be mindful that the motivational triad, the part of your brain that has gotten us to this point, is no longer serving us now. That is why like 35% of the United States is literally morbidly obese or some kind of ridiculous stat like that. I don't know if it's morbidly obese or at least obese, overweight, right? Because their brain is working exactly how it should, but our brain isn't designed to be around McDonald's all the time. Okay? That's why pretty much anyone in modern society has addiction problems of some kind, whether it's alcohol, porn, nicotine, social media, you throw in whatever your vice of choice is, right? Because your brain is designed to get addicted to things that release dopamine, and your society is actually the problem. So if you want to survive in this environment, not even survive, but thrive and create a meaningful life, you have to learn how to feel your emotions. Okay? Because if you learn how to feel your emotions and you can process them on purpose, you're actually overriding your brain's motivational triad to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. What we're doing in coaching and in this work is we're literally overriding biology to make sense for the environment that we're in now. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? So that's why this work is so important. I don't care about nicotine. I really don't. You know what I mean? Especially even with vaping, it's like, it's not good for you. We can all admit it's killing you slowly, but there's a lot of things that are killing you slowly in this society, right? And I think there's a lot more offensive ways to kill yourself slowly, you know? Like I would say cocaine or like taking methamphetamines that have been prescribed to you over the counter and abusing those. I think that's more offensive than vaping, to be honest with you. Like the whole entire ADHD medication epidemic that we've created. I think that's pretty offensive. The opioid crisis, right? That was literally engineered to kill people so that the pharmaceutical companies could make money, you know, quote unquote, helping people with pain, you know? There's a lot more offensive substances, in my opinion. The porn industry, I'm totally appalled by it in the gay community, right? So like when it comes to nicotine, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not that appalled by nicotine, but it's a good place to start. And a lot of people are vaping. And honestly, there's not a lot of people talking about this information in the niche of vaping. So that's why I do what I do. I do care about it. I do want to help you. It's a beautiful stepping stone, but I also just want to keep reminding you guys, it's not just about vaping and quitting. Okay. I think that quitting vaping is just a beautiful place for a lot of people that I can grab in with this work and show them, hey, this is a substance problem. And the reason you have a substance problem is because you have emotions in your body that you've never learned how to understand, process, and cope with. That's the problem. Whether this work catches you at nicotine, alcohol, cocaine, porn, it doesn't matter to me, okay? Really, the vaping thing is just a great niche. It's something that I understand I have a lot of personal experience with, so that is why I talk about vaping. But I just want you guys to know, and I want to remind you over and over again, that I don't do this just to help you quit vaping. I do this to teach you the skill set that I want you to learn, and vaping is a beautiful way for me to throw that skill set in your face, okay? So if you are currently using a substance like nicotine all the time, the reason you're using it is to buffer or numb against emotions in your life. And remember, there's a lot of problems with that, okay? Emotional numbing at its core isn't that bad, but typically it has a lot of net negative consequences, right? For one, if you're constantly numbing your emotions, it's very hard to know what you want and what you don't want. So I just want to give you a personal example from my life. Very recently, about 2 months ago, I bought coaching because I believe in coaching. I'm a full believer in what I do, and I consistently buy coaching from people to help me advance my life, and I'm always going to do that. It's an investment I always want to make on myself, and I love doing it. Anyways, I knew what I wanted a couple months ago, and as I've gotten closer to the goal that I set when I first started this coaching package, my desires changed. And I actually found myself the last couple of weeks drinking more alcohol than I normally do. and eating a lot more junk food than I normally do, which is abnormal for me, especially because I do this work so regularly. So I decided that I'm going to slow down on substances altogether. So I'm not going to drink alcohol until I have a wedding that I'm going to on September 21st. It's my childhood friends. I love them dearly, and I'm going to drink at their wedding. Like, it's going to happen. I already know I'm going to. So I'm just not going to drink until September 21st. That's about a month and a half. And the reason I'm doing that is because I kind of lost track of what I wanted with my life. Like, yeah, I have a general idea and a big goal, but like, if you guys aren't really sure what you want with your life, cut out substances for a little while. Okay. And the reason is because you're literally using those substances to buffer against things that you're not happy with. And what I found out really when I did this work, and even I resist it sometimes, I'm totally like in integrity with telling you that, because I have a brain that's also human that wants to avoid discomfort as well. Like, just because I am a coach doesn't mean I'm not working on the motivational triad as well. You know what I mean? So anyways, I realized that I was in a lot of shame about moving back with my parents, and I'm not really in love with the situation I'm in right now in life. And I say that really vulnerably because it's so funny. Like, I seriously make the best of most situations, and I'm actually very in love with my life right now, but I still was feeling a lot of shame. So I decided for the next like month and a half, I'm just not going to do substances for a while of any kind. Maybe like shrooms. I went to this Native American ceremony thing with my friend Sarah this weekend, and like they gave me, I don't know, I won a prize, and it's like this shroom tea. I guess they like distill psilocybin into a tea, like a tea bag, and then you make, so I might try that like once in the next month and a half by myself in my bedroom. But I don't know, I'm not sure about that. I think I'm mixed on psychedelics, just like I have my opinions on things. But anyways, I just decided, since I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing and I don't have a direct plan in life, and I'm not feeling that motivated to make any huge changes, I should just remove substances. So again, I don't think substances are bad, but just be mindful that the reason you're using them is to change how you feel. Okay? And it's really good sometimes to do an audit with yourself and check the reasons you're using substances. Check in with the effect they're having on your life. Check in with the net negative consequences they're creating, right? Do you feel like there's control issues around them? Are you gaining weight you don't want to gain? Are you like literally using them to tolerate people that you don't want to hang out with anymore? That's an important question to ask, by the way. And I want to say this. Just because you're growing as a person and you want to stop hanging out with other people, it doesn't have to end badly. You don't have to completely sever ties. Like, I have this proclivity as an Aries to where I think I have to like directly tell people I don't want to be friends anymore. And it's like unhealthy, honestly. I'm working on it. But like, you don't have to have it a bad ending with them. You can just decide that you want to grow and then stop hanging out with other people who you don't enjoy being sober around. That's okay. It doesn't have to be bad. And you can go hang out with them once a year, twice a year, and have a good time and like whatever, but it's just important to do a check-in with yourself with substances and just to start to build awareness around them. I mean, just check in. Like, I had been drinking coffee, like a pot a day. And this was in November, by the way. Like, coffee is such a normalized thing in our society that I think I had a problem with caffeine, but I didn't even realize it because I literally had all this programming since I was like literally a kid that coffee is just a normal thing and it's not even a substance. Like, I wasn't considering coffee a substance, but it totally is, right? And when I decided to stop coffee in November, I literally went off it one day, cold turkey, and I got really bad withdrawals and I was shocked. So now I'm drinking coffee again. I'm drinking like 1 cup a day maybe. And, it's just something you want to keep an eye on. Like, why are you drinking coffee? One of my friends, she's amazing. Her name's Caitlin. She was visiting a couple weeks ago and I'm like, hey, I'm going to get, do you want to get a coffee in the morning? She said, why do you need that? And I'm like, honestly, you're so right. I don't need it. And she's like, genuinely, why do you want to take it? And I like sat down with myself and I'm like, let me think about this. Let me actually answer your question. And I'm like, I guess it would make me feel better. And she's like, you don't feel good? I'm like, no, I guess I feel fine. It just bringing awareness around your substances and asking yourself simple questions like that is a really simple exercise that you can do to just confront yourself with some truth, And I don't need coffee, honestly. And I don't even think I need it now. And I'm still kind of torn on it, but it was just kind of interesting to do that work, So you just want to sit down and ask yourself some basic questions, okay, about where vaping fits into your life. Why am I using nicotine? Write down all the reasons. And I want you guys to know, my coaching is amazing. And a lot of the times, the reason why people pay for coaching is because they just aren't going to do the work by themselves. So this is a good place if you want to not get coaching, but you still want to get the effects, like actually do these exercises. Ask yourself, why am I vaping? Here's another question you can ask yourself. If I were to quit vaping right now, like somebody forced me to quit vaping and all the vapes in the world disappeared right this very second, I could no longer vape anymore ever again, what emotions would come into my body? Take some time to really figure that out. Remember, an emotion is just a one-word vibration in your body. Examples are fascinated, scared, angry, heartbroken, fearful, affectionate, tired, jealous, envious. Okay, so like write down some emotions that would come into your body and then ask yourself the question, what am I thinking and believing that would make me feel these emotions? For example, if I could no longer vape and I felt fear, why am I feeling fear? Because I have a belief that life isn't going to be as fun without nicotine. Well, that's really good to know that. Remember, it's not the facts of your life. It's not the chemical addiction to nicotine that creates your emotions like fear. It's what we're choosing to believe about the facts that create our emotions. And the beautiful thing is you can always change your thoughts if you bring awareness to them and see that they're not a thought that you like. For example, I really truly used to believe that my life wasn't going to be as fun without nicotine. I really believed that. And one day I sat down and I did this exercise and I said, do I really believe that my life won't be as fun without nicotine? And I really called bullshit on that belief system. I said, not really. Like the whole thing around nicotine right now is I feel trapped. I really felt trapped and I kind of enjoyed it. But really what I was experiencing was relief because it was an addiction. And when I didn't have it, I felt all cooped up and crazy. So then when I'd hit it, I'd feel relief, but that wasn't fun. So like if you want to quit vaping, you have to be honest about the emotions that you're currently vaping over, that you're avoiding your life with, and then ask yourself why you're feeling those emotions. What if you could just change your beliefs about nicotine, confront your emotions in a healthy way, and then you are no longer an addict for the rest of your life? Well, it turns out that's the exact solution to quitting vaping. And honestly, that's the exact solution to any problem you have with substances in your whole life, because it isn't a substance problem. It's a buffering from your own emotions problem. And once you truly understand that your thoughts are what's creating your emotions, you can take control over the rest of your life, over what you're thinking and feeling. And that isn't to say that you should always think thoughts that feel good. That's not what I'm saying. But just understanding that your thoughts are creating your emotions gives you so much relief and power back. When you no longer feel powerless to your emotions, you've literally won half the battle. And even if you choose to think and believe things that create negative emotions, you're the one creating those emotions. And knowing that, seriously, you guys brought me out of addiction. And it allowed me to step into a life where I finally started dreaming for myself and actually taking action for the life that I wanted to create. I'm so glad that I do this work. I've worked so many different jobs. I've searched the world for something meaningful, and I cannot find a more worthy pursuit than teaching you guys this work. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. I still have a brain that loves dopamine just like you guys. I still have a brain that really wants me to avoid emotions and lie to me about it. I still have a brain that really wants to overeat chocolate and food, and it wants to drink alcohol copiously. And I love IPAs so much. I love a good hearty IPA off the draft. Oh my God. And you know what? On Friday night, after my friends helped me move, I went out and I had 2 giant IPAs, and I absolutely was avoiding emotions like shame because I didn't want to move back in with my parents. And the difference now is that I knew what I was doing then. I didn't know exactly what the emotion was. I was really trying to avoid it. On Friday, I was really trying to avoid it, and I did. But I looked at the work and I realized exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And even if you continue to vape, when you actually do this work and you actually sit down and you do the exercises I'm talking about, or you sign up for the free training I have and join my program and my course and community, and you actually apply this stuff, you'll no longer feel out of control to it ever again. You will no longer tell yourself the story, I don't know why I'm vaping. I can't help it. I don't have control. I have an addictive personality. You'll know that that's all BS. And you'll understand finally that sometimes we're human beings and we just aren't wanting to look at the scary thoughts and emotions we're having because it's uncomfortable. And nicotine feels really good to avoid those things. Okay. So this is kind of a weird episode. I've literally, like I said, I think I've recorded it 3 or 4 times now and I've erased all of them. I will not erase this one. I think this one went pretty good. But I'm going to keep making episodes in the future. I'm going to have episodes with specialists on there and different coaches. I think it's going to be really fun to have those conversations. I'm also going to have more testimonial episodes. So if you guys have gotten results and you quit vaping from either my course or this podcast, I would love to have you on the podcast and have you do an episode. I would just love that. I think this podcast is growing pretty well, so you'll get your name out there. It'll be kind of fun, and I would just love to keep doing that. I want people to just share this work, and I want it to just keep growing. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it, guys. You was kind. You was smart. You was important. I'm recording this from the bedroom I grew up in, and I'm okay with that now. I've gotten past the shame, and I dropped thoughts that weren't serving me about my position, and I genuinely feel grateful and all the shame lifted. So thanks, guys, for being here. I will see you next week. I think I'm doing a testimonial episode next week, but we'll find out. All right. See you guys then.